All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. This is a Kiss-related podcast by the board, for the board. We hope that you enjoy. All right, welcome to the show, the last one of 2022. 2022, yeah, something like that. The last show of this year, whatever year it happens to be. I think I'm living in 1985 still. Lonnie, good to see you.
Hi.
Yeah. Hello. What's this formal? Shake hands across the street. A couple of years, it's like, ew. All right, and the voice of reason, Ken. We might have a couple of other stragglers. Well, here comes one now. Should we let him in? Yeah, we'll let him in. Hey, Mark, welcome to the show. We're live. We're on the air. You're late.
Sorry.
So, yeah, before we get into this week's topic, or topics, because it's got really no sort of structure other than kind of the year in review, so it can go any which way. I do want to, as always, take the opportunity to thank everyone who joins us on these live podcasts or these podcasts on Spotify, on iTunes, wherever you listen to or consume a Kiss podcast. Thank you for giving us your time. Mark agrees with the sentiment. This is becoming, when I start having like these thoughts, he belches to bring me back to reality.
Don't forget the mute button.
Yeah. So I do want to thank everyone for joining us. Whenever you join us, listening to the show, your support throughout the year is very much appreciated. The comments that you've left are very much valued. The feedback that you give us during these shows is also really cool. We do appreciate it all. Andrew's watching. Tales of a Kiss Geek is watching. Ian Conahan, Bill Phelps. Good to see you all. Thanks for joining us. Earth Dog, big brother fan. Thank you. I want to read some of the comments from the last episode before I ask you if anyone got any Christmas presents. And let me just trawl through here. I'd be up for another recording of Hotter Than Hell. I prefer the resurrected version of Destroyer. So there is one person, well, there are actually a couple who posted on the board and elsewhere that they also prefer it, as it's the version that they either got after becoming a fan or one that they just happen to prefer the Sonics for. So there is no case of all sizes fit all when it comes to being a Kiss fan. It's always good to be reminded of that fact. Charles Bronson. Mark, you know this one's going to be for you, right? Oh no, because he's asking about your first music video for Project Gemini, which is actually a good idea. When are you going to do a music video for Project Gemini? He thinks that Hotter Than Hell and Kiss Unmasked would be cool switched in production. Ken, what do you think? Switch those around, and they would either be any better?
You're muted, Ken.
Come on, Ken, you're better than that.
I'm sorry. Switch in production. I wouldn't want either of those two either switched, or I wouldn't want their production that they either way. I'd want some other production other than what they got.
You don't want Parasite with like some keyboards and shit like that?
Yeah. No. I just it's gotta be something else, some other production, some good rock producer.
Well, if Jack Douglas had produced a Kiss album, which early Kiss songs would have sounded good with horns? With brass. Yeah. That would have been kind of interesting. Oh, our camera quality is sexy today. That's always nice to hear. So sorry about what you have to see.
I like Ken in HD.
Yeah, Ken is the voice of reason in HD. All right, so that's enough of those comments. Christmas. Did anyone get anything for themselves, or were they gifted anything for Christmas this year, Ken?
I did get, well, my Alive 2 picture discs finally arrived. That was nice, and they did a nice job on that. I liked how they had the red on the inner of the
it looked cool.
cover, which allows you to recreate the original cover that way after you pull out the inner sleeves. So that's cool. And it came with, I had this. This is another Live 2 shirt. This is a tour shirt or whatever. That package. So yeah, that's all I got for as far as Kiss goes.
Yeah, I didn't get any Christmas stuff. Mark, what about you? How was your Christmas?
I didn't get anything Kiss related for Christmas either. Mainly just because most of the stuff that I wanted, I got earlier. Like I got the Alive 2 and stuff like that. But I got unexpected stuff that was non-Kiss related, basically.
Lonnie.
I got my Creatures box, which I said, I was waiting for. I had been, listening to a downloaded version of it, so it was cool to get the box and to dive into that. So that was, very enjoyable. But other than that, it was just good to actually be able to go and see family and friends. So it was a good day.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. We did our family thing here, which is all I care about on Christmas Day. Daniel, hi there. Glad you could join us. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I don't know what I was thinking. But
I mean, what else would you be doing at this hour? Like sleeping?
Sleeping.
No, I actually rewatched an old film with my girlfriend, Jerry Maguire. It was awful. From what I remember, it was great. Yeah, I thought it was a great movie back in the day, but now it was slow, boring, and too bad. But now I'm here.
Cool. You get anything for Christmas?
I was just like stroking my Kiss tickets like Blofeld in James Bond all Christmas.
Stroking on this show.
So I didn't get. I don't need anything else.
No, so you got five tickets. Well, let's get into looking back at 2022. And I'm going to throw this out immediately for you to think about. What was the favorite podcast episode for our show that you participated in this year? And if you watched any other Kiss podcast, what episode immediately jumped to mind when I asked you about other Kiss podcasts? Because it's always nice to share some love with our fellow podcasters out there if we watched any shows. So give that some thought and remind me to roll back around to it when we, get a bit deeper into the show. Because it'd be unfair to expect you to do that like right now. Let's start with off the soundboards. This year we had 3, and please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on anything because I'm so unprepared today. It's sickening. Virginia Beach was followed by Donington, was followed by Des Moines 77. So a 96, an 04, and a 77 show were released this year. Do you have a favorite out of those? Do you have any that you skipped? And, just what are your general hopes for 2023 if and when it comes to off the soundboards? Mark, let's start with you.
It was pretty close for what was my favorite one. For a while there, it was close between the Des Moines one and the Donington, but Donington is my favorite one easily for sure. That I really enjoyed that one, but as everybody seems to be saying online, the one that I couldn't stand and I didn't buy at all after I sampled a bit of it was Virginia Beach. I thought it was absolutely the most atrocious thing I've heard from them, and I don't know why they released that. I mean, to me, that's just unbelievable. But Donington is definitely the one that I thought was the best one. I mean, I have to say the Des Moines one was pretty good too. I was pretty surprised with that. But that's the 2 that I have on vinyl are Tokyo and the Des Moines. I have on vinyl, but the other ones like Donington I have on CD. And the reason why I got it on CD is because I listen to most of my stuff in the car, so I wanted to have that available for me to listen to all the time when I'm driving around because I really enjoyed that one. So yeah, that's my favorite one.
Okay, you could pick one era to be represented. Let's say they only do one off the soundboard next year, and I have no idea. It's just that let's say they were only going to do one. What lineup would you want that to be?
Oh, old for sure. I think I'd want it to be Eric Carr one with Bruce, like maybe like I think that lineup would be good. Bruce, Paul and Gene, and Eric Carr.
Okay, all right, Lonnie, favorite of the 3?
Well, all 3 are very different, and while I did enjoy that Des Moines 77, which is a real good Alive 2 type of companion, I am gonna have to echo that Donington was my favorite. It is the one I still listen to the most. I thought it was a real shame back in 97, 98 type era in between Reunion and Psycho Circus that they didn't do a proper release of a show or compilation of shows from the Reunion tour, considering how successful it was. And we finally got some kind of official soundboard type of release just to hear how good that band sounded early in that tour. And that's fairly early on. It's still like August of 1996. They hadn't even been playing together 2 months yet at that point. They're all still feeling pretty good, enjoying each other's company, and playing good as a band. So I thought it was a very authentic release from 96, and I've wanted that for a really long time. So what are you talking about, so it was fantastic. So it's definitely my go-to. As far as what I would want, as far as a soundboard in 2023, come on, I want Gene, Paul, Eric Singer, and Bruce Kulick. Come on,
go listen to a Live 3.
That's a shitty question. Well, go listen to a Live 2 instead of listening to Des Moines 9, if that's your argument. I want South America 94, Japan 95, something like that. That would be fantastic. That would be the ultimate for me for my era, my favorite era of the band. South America 94, Japan 95, something like that, with an unmatched show with Bruce and Eric Singer.
All right, Ken. He just dissed Alive too, by the way.
What say you, Ken?
He did just Alive too. I'm gonna give it a tie for.
Oh, it's a cop.
77.
No ties.
Okay, fine. I'm gonna take 77.
Knew it.
I'll go with Des Moines. That one. So I like classic Kiss. What can I say? So yeah. So as far as another release, maybe the Australian when they played on that little boat with just the three of them.
No. 3 men and a shark.
The 3 men and a shark. The shark show. The show for the sharks.
The shark
in Australia. But no, seriously. I think something in the 80s, definitely mid 80s, maybe something from the Asylum. I would like an Asylum. Yeah, definitely Asylum. So I think that's the era that they should hit next. If that's something I think needs to be done.
And thus the voice of reason has spoken. Make it so, Universal. He said so.
Make it so.
All right, Daniel. He's already picked Asylum as a possible, but out of the 3, what was your favorite?
I'd have to go with Des Moines from 77. I think it was a great recording. Was Tokyo from this year, or was it last year?
That was 2021.
Prior year, right?
Yeah, that's funny. I like that one as well. The rest are okay as well. But I think the best soundboards we got in other ways, not officially released.
Oh.
And we actually got a great one from, I think it was New Jersey 85 from the Animalized tour. That one sounded great, but that's of course unofficial. But that was actually my favorite soundboard from this year. But maybe we'll get into that later on. When it comes to what I would like to hear, I'm right there with Lonnie. Something with the Eric Singer, Bruce Kulick lineup. I love the way they sounded from 92 to 95. Of course, I'd like to hear something from Australia in 95 because I haven't heard any crisp sounding soundboards from there. We have a great one from Tokyo at 95. There are some great ones from, I think it's an audio recording from Brooklyn 92 that I really love. I think it's a good one. And I'd actually like maybe Wembley 92 would be pretty cool. England, So something from that era, because we got a few from the Eric Carr era unofficially released, and I really enjoyed those as well.
All right. It's tough. Yeah, well, it's not tough to consider which one of the released ones I like the best. It was Des Moines. That was an unknown. No, there was only a really crappy sound audience recording of that show previous, and it was missing that that band intro section. So that was all kind of new. And again, it's alive to its Super Kiss, it's classic Kiss era. So that's always going to win. I wasn't that bothered by Virginia Beach, but again, I saw it as somewhat pointless because of Rock the Nation Live. So it just seemed like a waste of effort, other than it probably already sat essentially mastered and ready to go. Donington, I want more reunion soundboards. You cannot have too many reunion soundboards. So as far as the release stuff, I'm happy, and I think Des Moines is the only one I'm going to listen to repeatedly, and Donington for that matter. But what would I like next year? I'd like something I don't expect, and I just don't know what it might be, because we've got so many examples of recordings that it's kind of tough to surprise us now with everything that does leak unofficially. It makes us a very tough audience to sell to. Oh God, thanks a lot. Yeah, I would like to buy.
Get there.
Yeah, already paid for that. I would love to get what I paid for, but I don't see that happening any more than Magic getting published in 2023. But those are all topics for later. But I like the idea of Bruce Kulick being represented on and off the soundboard. So I'll take anything. Any tour with Bruce. We've just had Eric Carr included in the Creatures box set. So it's nice that has happened. And then, as Ken alluded to, or Lonnie, I can't remember which, all the unofficial releases have kind of filled those gaps as well. Let's talk about some of the unofficial releases. Which unofficial recordings, and let's keep it to audio right now. We'll get into that video idiot in a minute. Which of the audio releases that have popped up over the year has most grabbed your attention or really given you a wow moment, Daniel?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I really like the one from I think it was Calgary '85, like March '85. I think that was a great sounding show, and there were, I think, New Year's '85 as well. Sounded great. And then, of course, all the Vinny stuff from the Creatures era was great to hear, even though he butchered some of the solos, as you guys
wait, didn't we establish that he didn't butcher them?
Nah, when I listened to you guys, I thought you were quite unanimous that you didn't really like some of his takes, even though it progressed over time and it became better and better. And of course, he put his stamp on the solos, but you need at least some notes from the original solo, I think, at least. Sometimes I don't know what he was doing. And I saw Mark, he kind of had a hard time with some of the solos when he hit some of the notes, Vinny. But
well, I mean, we all grabbed our ears at one point. I do remember that.
Yeah. So, but I think it was great just to hear it, because I really, my memory of Vinnie Vincent on stage with Kiss was like kind of great. I'm thinking of the Rio show in '83 when he did that fantastic Calling Dr. Love solo that I really love. I had no idea he was this bad. From my point of view, I thought he slaughtered some of the solos, but it was great fun to listen to and really entertaining and somewhat different. So I really enjoyed some of the, what was it, Rockford sounded great, and Toronto, where Mark's from, at least the area, I think was a great one as well. So there's so many, and they all have their highlights. But I think. The ones from New Jersey '85 and Calgary '85, I really like those, and of course the Vinny stuff was real fun listening to, even though I had a hard time with some of his solos, but it was an aggressive band, and I like the set list they had, and Well, it was great fun. So there's so much great stuff being released this year. We're really blessed. I mean, it's one of the best years when it comes to leaks, at least.
Yeah, I need to do another episode with material from the Lick It Up tour, showing Vinny's development with those same solos, and also the songs from Lick It Up. Lonnie.
Yeah, it is. It's difficult to choose because we did get so much stuff in 2022 as far as unofficial releases. I mean, it was very unlike a lot of other years. But that Creature stuff that came out shortly before the official announcement of the box set with that Sioux City, Iowa, the Toronto show, and others, to me was the highlight, because up until that point, we were always told, well, it just doesn't exist. It's just not out there. They weren't selling well, so they weren't putting in a lot of funds into these shows. So, and we were just told that, and we believed it. I'm like, oh, it's a shame, but it just is what it is. So, the fact that we got that, we're like, holy shit. And, and then, obviously the controversy that surrounded that, oh, there's going to be repercussions of this and that. And, I don't get into those circles because I'm just not it. I'm not privileged to be in those circles. So, I am sure there's repercussions of that, because people hold on to these recordings and they pay substantial amount of dollars for them. So, but that's another conversation. So, those Creature shows to me, though, were fantastic to be able to finally hear, and then to have them kind of portioned together, mixed together on the box set, and even cleaned up further. And I mentioned it when we did our Creatures review. It kind of sounds, the way they did that on the Creatures box set just sounds what like a live album would have sounded like in 82, 83 had they gone that route. So. But to hear them like in a raw type form, those was really cool. But Daniel mentioned some good ones too. There was a lot to choose from. It was a very good year to be a Kiss fan.
All right, Mark, which Bob Ezrin produced bootleg do you enjoy the most this year?
Bob Ezrin bootleg. Maybe a bootleg might sound better than a studio work, but I think though that from the soundboards that came out, I liked the Toronto one, the Creatures one. I thought that was really good, and of course, being from the area, I was kind of like, it's nice to have a good version of a show from that for me to listen to. But Daniel was right. There's a lot of other things that came out that was really good as well. I was just looking on my list here on the side that I had of some of those shows, and I believe that one. Indianapolis, January 16th, 1986 Asylum tour. That's one that I thought was really good, because me being a big Asylum fan, it's my favorite non-makeup Kiss album. So anytime there's something that comes out from that era, I love seeing it. And I'm sure we'll talk about video stuff later, but that's also going to be in discussion later as well. But the Asylum era is really like underrepresented, I think, in the whole bootleg thing. Now, maybe as time goes by, things will start coming out from that era in better quality. I'm not complaining so much for what we have. I'm glad that we have something than nothing, right? But that's one thing that I think I'm hoping will come out in more of it will come out. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, I'm very, very glad that the Creatures stuff came out too, because those leaks were really, really good. And I think that to have that many good quality soundboard stuff, and I'm a big soundboard collector guy, I can't stand audience recordings. To me, they're not even worth having. That's why I can't understand. And I know someone's going to probably egg me from the gallery when I say this, but I can't understand people that drop $300 for these box sets that come out that have, these picture discs, like 4 picture discs from some tour and some show where the audio is like you can barely hear what the hell's going on. Some guy with a hand recorder in the audience recording it. But because the box set has all these great posters and pictures and this and that, and they're printed on these nice picture discs, people drop $200 and the audio is terrible. Why would you even buy that? I mean, I don't care what comes with it. I mean, I'm there to listen to the audio, you know? So when they start putting out box sets that have good soundboard quality audio, maybe I'll be more interested in those kinds of bootleg box sets.
All right. Mark has laid down the gauntlet. Get on it, bootleggers. All right. Ken.
Yeah. I'm with I'm with Lonnie actually, because first thing I thought of was the creature stuff, because I wasn't expecting anything ever at this point. I mean, we just weren't hearing anything. There was no sense that there were full shows out there, soundboards, and then there was like all of a sudden 3, leaked on one day. I was like, oh wow, this is just awesome. So that, and they were pretty darn good quality. So that's got to be. I mean, even if it was a spoiler, I guess, for the Creatures box, I don't think it really affected the box set anyway so much. Barely. I think anyone said, "Oh, I got those soundboards," that's all I really wanted in the first place. I'm not going to get the box set. I think that's point.
And a lot of casual fans don't even know that these leaks exist. Like I talked about it with my show a lot.
Yeah.
Most of the casual fans don't even know such thing. He's like, man, you are a super nerd. What are you even talking about?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he loves Kiss, has every album, sees it with me every time they come to town. But he's like, what are you even talking about, dude? So no, I'm with you, Ken. It had no bearing on this sales.
Yeah.
I see both sides of the coin, unfortunately. What it did is it stole a wow moment.
Yeah.
From the label, who were, I guess, already planning on including that stuff in that form on the box set. And when they all got dumped online, they no longer had the wow moment.
True.
If you learn about that they suddenly exist and you learn it from the record label about to release product, you have a warm, moist feeling because of what the record label has announced, instead of them being dumped by bootleggers who basically just download them or sold them. I have no idea how they get a hold of them. So does it ruin the box set? Technically, no, because it's a different treatment that has been applied to the material on the box. It's been turned into a super show of the era with the best parts from those and the errors cut out, so it's a more listenable. Peter is thinking, but it's brick walled. Yeah, okay, whatever. Just acknowledging him being correct on that, and Pablo. But wow, in selling product is a very important factor, and it can really ruin products or the perception of those products. So there is a business side of it that just can't be discounted. Are the same people who buy a Creatures box going to buy it? Yeah, and they're going to buy all the freaking bootlegs or download them as well because we're nuts and that's what we do. So that's my 2 cents. Sorry. Were you finished, Ken, or did you want to?
No, it's finished. Yeah.
All right, I got to pick my favorite bootleg from this year. I just want to also say we're never going to see another year like 2022 in terms of the amount of shit that's come out. Think about it. Largo 75. We'll get to all the Loomis shit in a minute. All the soundboards, the off the soundboards, the Creatures box set, the demos. Absolutely freaking insane as a fan of the music, what we have had in what has otherwise been a bit of a shitty year, economically, socially, and all around the board. The world's not recovered. So as we get to the end of 2022, we've got something to celebrate as Kiss fans. All right, my favorite, Knoxville 79, without a doubt. The Peter Criss on Speed show, where he's starting off. Don't forget who sets the tempo in your band when you're playing live. It's that guy in the back who a lot of people can't say, who decides how fast that car is going to go. His foot is on the accelerator, and that night in Knoxville, Peter's foot was on the floor. So I love that show. It's just got so much character. It's been very enjoyable. Yeah, and the Creature stuff is absolutely fantastic. There was very little to complain about. Atlanta 79 was a bit chopped. But come on. Soundboard. It's all good. All right. Let's get into that topic. the Loomis leaks.
Mm.
What are some of your standout favorite video leaks or video releases from the year? What is it that you're really going to look back on 2022 and get a video image from? Ken, I'm going to go straight back to you and start.
Well, I'm going to say all of it, really. I mean, there was so many good videos that we just did not see, or never had seen, didn't know that existed for that matter. And but the live the 77 stuff was really, really cool. That and 75, I'm just kidding. There's still so many things. Rehearsals, just most of it, really most of it. I don't know. We got that one recently. I don't know. It's not Loomis, but the Demon Antonio or whatever. Captain Antonio, the one with Tony Tina, that was kind of weird. But we're seeing all kinds of these things. I think what that did, this Loomis thing, all those leaks allowed others to feel like they could start, putting their versions of videos out there too that they had and they never really published online. You see other people getting involved and putting videos out, which is very cool. So yeah, but mostly it's the 70s stuff live that related to either the Alive album and that sort of thing. That's the best stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, ooh,
go on.
Well, I mean, there's no surprise when people hear me say that I loved that 75 Largo show. That when that came out, and even with the really odd effects that they have on there, that was one performance I thought was absolutely fantastic. I mean, I still watch that one a lot. I mean, when these things came out, when the Loomis leaks came out, I got them all converted onto DVD, and they're sitting beside my TV in the living room, and I watch at least one different one every single night. I'm still enjoying them. They're so good, these leaks. The one thing that I was really glad that it came out was when the Kobo Hall shows were leaked, that night one finally has the proper encore in there when they gave out the awards and all that, because I remember seeing that award ceremony bit on one of the compilations that
Kiss
came
My
out.
Ass, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I was thinking to myself, like, where is that from? I don't remember ever seeing it, because I have the videos from a long time ago from the Kiss conventions, and both my night one and night two have the exact same encore where Gene fucks up the lyrics for Let Me Go Rock and Roll. So I'm like, wait a minute, he did that both nights? And I realized now it's probably just the same thing both nights, right? So yeah, there you go. And I got the when we got the proper encores for that, I thought that was great. I was really happy to see that. I think Ken also mentioned the rehearsals. I think that's great to have those as well in a nice quality to see that as well. And I mentioned earlier that there was a leak of a Asylum show, right? I mean, I don't think it's a complete show if my memory serves me correctly, but it was good to see something like that with those crazy, knee-breaking lightning steps that they had there for those shows. I always thought that the stage looked rather interesting, and maybe one day there'll be a complete show from that tour. I'd love to see a complete video of that. But yeah, I think for me, the ones that I watch most often now are the Maryland one there, the 75, and I also watch a lot the 76 Destroyer show that came out. The reason why I love that one is that there's about 20 minutes at the beginning where they're on the audience and just showing them, and they're having a Rolling Stones songs they're playing in the background.
Yeah,
and
that's Houston, right?
Yeah, and they're going through the audience and just watching that and thinking to myself, holy shit, I remember those bad clothes and those bad hairdos that people had back then. It's just watching that was so fun. And people, when they saw themselves on camera, they always did that thing. They're always pointing like at the camera guy every time. Yeah, it's like, what, I don't know what the deal was with that. Maybe it's a 70s thing, but but it was interesting seeing that. That's one of the things I loved about that Houston show, was seeing the people getting ready for the show back then. It's great. Those leaks were fantastic.
All right, Lonnie, which revenge leak did you like the best?
No, what sticks with me is, again, the Largo 75. I think was really mind-blowing for a lot of us. Maybe because it was one of the first ones, if not the first one. It was just like, holy shit. And then the Tokyo 77, that 3 p.m. Tokyo 77 show.
Yeah.
Really another one that just kind of like floored a lot of us. Like, holy shit, I can't believe that. Andrew, Largo 92, that's fantastic. It's only half the show. Son of a bitch, but yeah, that Largo 92 is absolutely stunning as well. There is so many good ones. Is the problem, and then we've talked about those encores from Detroit in '76, just completing those shows, and the rehearsals, and you can go on and on. It was a very fun couple of weeks while that was going on, because you never knew what exactly, when you woke up, what are we going to get today, because you knew something was going to happen, and you didn't know when or you didn't know what, and almost every time it blew your mind what it was. So
I was like, who am I banning today on the board? No, I mean, it was nuts. I'd had the audio to Largo 75 for a couple of years, but it was only when I saw the video with everyone else, I was like, holy crap, this is a complete different. Once you could see the physicality of the band to go with the audio, they're a visual band. Largo 75 to me is where it's at. I mean, there are 4 shows basically that have been in continuous rotation when I go into those, and it's those 3 Detroit 76s, just cue them up one after the other, and Largo 75. When the band was hungry, they were spectacular. Largo 92 looked great. It just makes it clear, what a crap sandwich a Live 3 really is when you compare it to some of the other performances, less produced, obviously, and to a house feed like that. I just prefer that. But again, I have not been. This is like the Gene Simmons Vault. That took me years to digest all of that material. Getting it all dumped in such a short period of time made it very difficult to process it for me. And I'm really bad on video. I have to ask people, what the hell is this? Is this something good? Is this interesting? Tell me what's good. Just filter it all out and tell me what I should be watching, because I just don't know when it comes to all of that, if it's an upgrade or if it's a different angle. So just too much to digest and too much drama that went along with it, which really sucked all of the joy out of it for me. But I'll go back to Largo 75 and the Detroit 76s any day of the week when I want to hear, young, hungry Kiss before they found money. Daniel?
Yeah, I don't know if there's that much more to say. You guys said it all, but of course, Largo, Detroit 75, they were great. I also enjoyed the Asylum concert that Mark talked about, especially seeing the stage from a few different angles, seeing all the colors, and actually finding out some stuff I didn't know, like the logo, that it like the flag for, I think it was one of the songs towards the end, and stuff like that. It's always fun to find out new stuff. And the Revenge show from '92, of course, was great, even though it was cut in half. But we all know that there's more stuff on that hard drive from Loomis, and a friend of mine, a friend of mine actually uploaded 10 gigabyte concert from Tokyo 95 that I really enjoyed. So that's the one I go to all the time. Tokyo 95, great sounding, looks great, crisp picture and crisp sound. So that's the one I go to, and it's been released somewhat, but I've not seen the complete concert online. But I have to tip my hat to that guy and thank you for that show, because it was awesome. And that's the one I go to. So, well, that's about it.
Yeah, Tokyo 95 is really something else. Again, I don't think we ever get tired about talking about that period in the band's history when they really were so musically tight. But again, all the conspiracy bullshit drama just really sucked. It was irrelevant to enjoying the material, but it really just became overbearing. Daniel, you had some topics that you thought might be, worthy to discuss from the year. Do you want to pick out one of yours to pose to the rest of us?
I'm sorry, I don't remember what topics I.
All right,
I suggested it was a while back.
Oh my goodness!
We are live.
Let's see.
Yeah, we're live. That was like a week or 2 weeks ago. I've done other stuff since then.
Well, Kiss Live this year. I mean, there's been a lot of video and stuff that's been shared online from those various shows. What are the high points of the touring year to you?
I was so pleasantly surprised when I saw Kiss Live in this summer. I didn't have that high expectations. I saw them 2019 and wasn't really that impressed. But this time around, being in the Tele2 Arena in Stockholm with somewhere around 30,000 other people, I think it was one of the better concerts I've seen with Kiss. And I don't know if it's because you've actually kind of accepted the help that Paul gets, and but it was such a celebration. And before the show, they had set up a thing in a pub nearby where we gathered hundreds and hundreds of Kiss fans. They played Kiss music from noon. Is it called noon? 12 o'clock in the day? I think it's noon. Yeah. So you went there, had some beers, and talked with some Kiss fan, met all that stuff. I at a time like that, I get how it feels to be religious. Binding over something that you have you're like, you understand it but don't, and you're like this club together. So just that whole day, being with the Kiss fans, going to the concert, and it was a great concert. I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't think it would be that good. So looking forward to this summer as well. I'm going to see 2 more shows with them, and so take my money, Kiss.
Yep. So I refer to it as receiving communion in the Electric Cathedral, going to a Kiss show, but it applies to any Kiss concert because of the people that you bump into, the community, and I think in Kiss, because it's so multi-generational. Any legacy act now is multi-generational. You go to an Aerosmith show, it's the same thing. Even Motley Crue show, people are bringing their grandkids now. It's just the sense of community. I haven't had that opportunity since I skipped that last Kiss show, so I get all my jollies online watching the video. What was it? Buenos Aires, the live stream this year was absolutely spectacular, and it wasn't so much the band was feeding off the energy of the crowd, but you have never seen a better representation of a crowd giving that energy to the band, and the band rising to it. So that for me was the live standout of the year. Lonnie.
Yeah, those streams were good. It was good to see them back touring. The cruises were, the cruise footage we saw was good too. The rise to it from Andrew, good Lord, how did we go this far into this episode without mentioning that? I mean, who doesn't love the Hot in the Shade tour, for Christ's sake? So,
yeah, lots of that around.
Definitely one of the highlights as well. So, I gotta sneeze. I'm kind of stuttering right here. But, it was good to see those streams live. It was good to see people enjoying themselves. Daniel was the only one. Ken, did you go to a show this year?
This year, no.
So Daniel's the only one amongst us that went to a show this year. So far, Daniel's the only one of us that has tickets to a show next year. Look at him. So
so far
anyway, the European tour does stop suddenly in July, which leaves some US time open, so we'll see what happens with that. But it's still good to see them live, to see them still out doing what they love and watching, like Julian said, watching the audience just still so full of life, seeing them do their thing. It's pretty remarkable, actually.
Yeah, so where's Drago? Yeah, they're coming back. They've done that in every market, mate. It's like, it's another chance to eat from the tree. I mean, if you're able to, those ticket prices are bollocks, though. I mean, I was going to buy tickets to Newcastle and Plymouth, and I'm like, forget it. Number one, I can't get a physical ticket, so I was like, forget it. But if you're able to, live.
Of course they're going to do it.
Did you
don't have any regrets.
Did you guys see this interview from Paul today? I read a snippet from an interview with Paul today online saying that, well, it's the end of the road, but they keep producing more pavement or some bullshit line like that.
Oh, God.
it's
More pavement.
more asphalt.
More pavement, more concrete just keeps getting laid. And, we have no, it almost sounded like we have no desire to quit anytime soon.
As long as you dummies keep paying us, we'll keep coming out.
It kind of felt like tongue in cheek, like get ready for Farewell Tour 3 in about 5 years from now.
Yeah. But that's the whole thing.
They're going to surf this wave as long as the wave goes on. There's no way that they're going to walk away from money. I mean, look at they're on to their second promoter in many markets now. So Live Nation, that wave has crested, but they're still in the water, paddling back for the next one. And as long as those waves keep coming, as long as we keep going, we're the ones who keep them on the road, not them. If no one went to the shows, they would have been off the road already, sitting at home. But I think also when you've been in the business for 50 years, you've forgotten to how not be in the business. And how do you walk away from making millions a night selling instruments, meet and greets, and all that crap? It's just, it boggles the mind. Can you imagine Gene Simmons being retired? I mean, we've all seen him in his bunny suit and his slippers, but can you actually see him tending a garden?
No, but you know what? I think that he can retire. I think of all of them, I think Gene can retire, and I don't have any worry about Eric Singer, because somebody will pick him up immediately when he becomes available as a drummer. Okay, but the other guys, Paul doesn't have a hope in hell of doing really anything after this is done. I mean, except maybe his R&B nonsense there. But other than that, I mean, he what's he gonna do? The guy can't sing anymore, right? So he's the one who's riding the wave. I think Gene will be more than happy because he has so many ideas to make money. We saw it during his his Family Jewels times. That guy can find avenues to make money left, right, and center. If money is their motivation, the touring isn't the only way to make money. Especially Gene can tell you that 100 times over. But and look, being a musician too, I understand the whole thing with the money thing. Yes, you're going to keep playing as long as the money's there. But I mean, after a while, it just starts getting a bit ridiculous here. Like they're going back to the same places 7-8 times. I mean, there's, really, I mean, people are starting to not. For me personally, I don't believe this thing is going to ever end now. I mean, it's just going to keep going until one of them actually are physically unable to do it anymore. Like, God forbid nothing happens to them bad, like somebody passes away or something. But it's going on for way too long, in my opinion.
As Kiss will always continue as long as they earn money. But I'd rather see Kiss fans going to concerts and keeping Kiss alive as a live band than buying those awful reissues of LPs and making that the thing.
Whoa.
The red color, the blue color, the purple color, the same music all the time.
Nowhere.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, just because Mark said, I'm a bit tired of, but go and see. You won't regret going and see the band live. It's an experience.
Well, we
It's
would if they'd
something
come near us.
Yeah,
they just like to tour Europe.
Come to
hopefully,
Concord.
we'll see.
They just want those euros.
I think that's that. Yeah, give them the euros. Come over here again and again. I'll go
And if it actually was live,
instead of buying 5 old LPs, you can actually buy a ticket and go and see some real cool
I
stuff
disagree.
live
I
and
think
meet
Paul
fans.
Stanley does it for the money.
What?
So what was the subject? Anyway, I'm just gonna say I agree with the South America stuff. Was just fantastic. Seeing that.
Ken brings us back
Okay.
on point.
No. I mean, that's what it's like. I don't know what I didn't even get to
Getting
mention
back
my-
to the topic question.
Yeah, so the South American live show, Argentina or whatever, where they, it was a pro shot stuff. I like that so much, where the fans are so into it and they are singing the riffs of the songs. That is just totally the coolest thing in the world. We never do that here in the States or anything.
No.
We probably should.
we're too cool to do that here.
No, North American audiences are freaking dead logs.
That's what I'm being sarcastic.
I think the problem is that you have so much to choose from. I mean,
And
okay, I'll go and see
we're overly
Kiss tomorrow,
spoiled
Def
here.
Leppard. Then
We
I'll
are
see
spoiled.
Motley Crue, and then I'll see. In South America, it's a thing.
And we sit here
You
like
know,
we've
Yeah.
seen them so many
American-
times, where in South America, it's a rare thing that they get them down there.
Yeah.
So it's like, Christmas
I'd expect
or
the
Hanukkah or
Australian
whatever coming,
fans to have gone a
once in
little bit
20
more
years or
crazy
whatever.
during the tour then,
It's-
with how long they waited.
Yeah. So I downloaded one of those shows and put it on
No,
DVD.
he's not.
I thought it was just fantastic. So that was the cool stuff for me, and I hope they do some other stuff. But I will mention that that Rise to It video.
How about that Rise to It video?
It was that is really cool, and I think I thank Andrew for doing those things.
Who doesn't love hockey?
It's very fun. Those things, all those videos he's done have been great. And we've seen other artists do this stuff. I mean, not artists, but I guess they're artists. But other people making videos on Kiss stories. You've seen the series of that stuff, and some other ones that have Kiss fans, fanatics of Kiss, who love Kiss, put out these beautiful videos for us to watch, and I think it's really a cool thing.
I love what Andrew has been.
2023.
Yeah, I love what Andrew has been doing through the years, but you have to say at least that the Hot in the Shade thing, the live stuff is great, but you do understand why they couldn't release some sort of exposed to using that video footage, because the backstage footage is duller than hell. There's nothing. There's nothing going on.
Fest.
Yeah, it's a real snooze fest, to be honest. But I love the video. But what can you do with that stuff? I mean, they sit the stuff and nothing happens backstage, unfortunately. So there's not much going on. It would have hurt the band if they tried to be this cool band going into the 90s and showing that stuff. It would have worked. So they should release a live video, however, but the backstage stuff is like.
But that's pretty accurate. That's pretty accurate, though, to what touring is most likely like during that time.
But,
I mean, don't forget, exposed and all that stuff. That's completely staged shit. That doesn't really happen.
What are you talking about?
That is complete horse shit that happens with those guys.
Was it real?
House together?
It's comedy. It's comedy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
so I think it's better to have some comedy and humor than
Yeah,
to show
exactly.
some dark shit from backstage.
Yeah,
Don't you agree? Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. But imagine if they would have released one of the Detroit shows, in 1990 live. That would have been a good release.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of ground to cover in terms of, some of that stuff. We were talking about Andrew and, Rise to It and his video work. I mean, I actually love watching the multicam of Fort Wayne that he put together, which
that's a good one.
is really good. Obviously, the pit cam stuff is fun, but also taking, I want to see more multicams in 2023. I don't care whether they're audience sourced or stuff, from other sources, but I think we need to see more of that. I want to see more documentaries. There have been some podcasts that have been doing documentaries about the band's history as well. Those are all very well done, but I mean, now that everything's getting nuked on YouTube whenever anyone posts anything, unfortunately, it's becoming more and more difficult for anyone to use that as a platform reasonably. So I hope we don't get a copyright takedown on this because we said a word that someone thinks they own the rights to. So here's the man himself, Japan 77 in 2023. So
awesome.
There are things to look forward to next year. Kiss merch, Chotkeys, the stuff I call crap, Kiss crap. Did you buy any Kiss crap this year in terms of the merch? One thing I wanted to buy this year that I've not been able to find was a 2023 Kiss calendar.
Oh yeah.
Who the fuck
there,
drops the ball on
not official?
Yeah, unofficial. There's no Epic Rights licensed calendar that I've been able to find. If you've seen one, and that goes to anyone out there who's watching or listening, clue me in. I don't want to buy an unofficial. I was so disappointed today at the office when I took down my 2022 one and chucked it in the bin. It's like it's been my trusty companion all year long. But I only really bought, I think, one piece of merch this year, and that was the snow globe. And I guess it's technically not merch since it came from the cruise. But Lonnie, out of all the colored vinyl things that have just been insulted, which were your favorites? And what was the favorite merch this year?
I think the box set, the Super Deluxe box set, can be considered merch because of everything that's included with it, between the pictures and everything else that comes with it. I think that takes the prize. They've really hit it out of the park the last 2 years between Destroyer and Creatures, and hopefully more to come. I haven't, as much as I used to buy everything that they put out from, and I've displayed some of the crap that I've bought over the years on previous shows. I've scaled down as far as that goes, and it's more about quality, and they've really hit it out of the park with these Super Deluxe box sets. Because not only is it music, but it's high quality type of merch as well. There's colored release of the off the soundboards and things like that, and that's fun. But the quality of these boxes is my favorite merch that I've purchased the last 2 years.
All right, Ken, is it hard to choose through all that merch that you picked?
Yeah, I mean, it's all good. I enjoy all of it, actually. I would, if they were going to do another box set, I did like how they did the three vinyl version of Creatures, the color version. But going one step further, they do a box set next year. I'd like them to really put the same box set out in vinyl, all the same music, completely. What you get on CD, you're going to get on vinyl, complete, all the same. So if you had a choice, then the person can just buy the vinyl version and still have everything, the book and everything else. So I would hope they do that. Otherwise, this is only really, merch, or if you call the what is it, the T-shirts and stuff that come with these colored picture discs and stuff like that. These are just the pins, But I didn't go too crazy otherwise, other than the vinyl and box set.
Mark.
I mainly stuck with the colored stuff that came out, like the albums that came out. And again, I want to thank, I believe his name is David, who's a listener of the FAQ, who sent me the Revenge 30th anniversary one, because I missed out on getting it, and he sent me an extra that he had of it. So that got me caught up on the colored vinyl stuff. But I'm more into the T-shirt things. Like I got this Kiss Elder T-shirt from online, right? When that came out with the flying V and everything, right? On it. And I like their t-shirts. I think that's one thing that I had to give a lot of credit to them about. I mean, I've been bitching about Kiss Online for a long time now on this podcast, but the one thing that they've been doing really well is their t-shirts. I think that the t-shirts and the different selections of shirts you can get for Kiss are really, really good. I mean, I peruse a lot of different other bands' online stores, and most other bands don't have as much selection of t-shirts as Kiss does online. I mean, I love Rush and Yes and all these things, and they're very low on, different versions of shirts and stuff like that, right? So I'll never complain about the t-shirt end of the Kiss marketing thing. They're great. If I had more available cash on me that I could use for whatever I wanted, I would probably buy some more shirts than I would probably buy more vinyl now, because I really enjoy the t-shirts. So that's my little 2 cents on that.
All right, Daniel, what about you?
I think Kiss has stepped up this year with the box sets and the soundboards and so on, off the soundboard stuff. So they've done a great job. Previously, they have had a hard time releasing anything interesting, but this year they've done quite a few good things. But I rather stick with the things released by the fans, because they are really what matters at this point to me. Fans that do give a damn and release stuff that we haven't seen before. We mentioned Andrew Schimbatti earlier. His stuff is great, and I've enjoyed it for years now. I think it's fantastic that he does that without, actually getting anything for it. People do appreciate his talents, and maybe that can get him some sort of job. But it's all for free. So actually, you guys made me buy this book. So I think this kind of
made
stuff
you
pointed a gun to your head.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you convinced me. You convinced me. And no. It was good. It was a good book, a good read. I liked it. So thanks for that tip.
Yeah,
like
it's
people
imperfect, but
put
there
in
we
the
go.
effort and release. So this, if you can call it merch, I don't know, but fans putting in an effort, putting their passion across, getting others in on it. You could actually say that podcasting is also something that I enjoy, even though it's not really merch, but fan contribution out from their passion. It's always the best. And I actually ordered another book today. It's called Kisstoric 1963 to 1983. So I'm hoping to get that in early January, maybe. I think the author is called Julian Gill. So I'm looking forward to that one.
I heard of him, yeah.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, I think I've heard of him. Yeah.
I spell it.
So more
I heard he's
more
a jerk
stuff.
and he
from
likes
the-
to ban people.
Bad. He must have banned you.
The band, they got my money when it comes to tickets, so I need to give some money to the fans as well.
I have to say, I'm very surprised that this time around I'm not the one with the worst internet connection today.
That's a shot at
You
Daniel
guys
from out of nowhere.
You traded routers with Daniel, I think.
I have I see I have a problem with the connection. I don't know what it is today.
Snow?
There's something going on.
It's called.
Yeah, it might be snow, actually. It might be the snow, because it's snowing as hell outside now.
Oh, nice.
Sorry.
Well, let's go back to that question I posed at the beginning.
Yes.
Favorite
The video.
podcast episodes
Podcast.
that we've done this year,
Mhm.
and from other podcasts. I'm going to say for our shows, my favorite episode is plural, because it's any episode we've done that I'm not a participant on, that you guys do without me, because then I get to watch the show and enjoy it as a
sorry.
bystander. No, to me, it's really important for the show to not be about me. Because when I host them, the most of the time, I inject myself and my style into them, and to let you guys just run wild and do your own thing and be your own people and bosses. Because again, I keep the stopwatch running for each episode and how long I think it can be kept on life support. So,
Yeah.
those have been my favorite episodes. That every episode is special because we get together with friends and talk about Kiss. It's like picking your children. Yeah, one of them eats crayons, but you still love them all equally.
Yeah.
So that's my
Mark.
that's my take on our show. And people are gonna say, well, that's a cop out so that you don't have to pick one. No, it really is like that for me. And for the other podcasts, I'm going 3 sides. My favorite episode was the one where I was on.
Wow.
Oh
How
my
self-serving
God.
is that?
No, because everyone or many people were expecting that to be a shit show of antagonism and real negativity.
What I was on.
But I think we got to show people that even while we may throw knives at one another now and then, that we still have a common interest in the band and many of the topics. I've posted quite a few 3 Sides episodes this year that I've really gotten back into listening to that show. If I pick a favorite episode, it's definitely Blackie Lawless, because that was just such a big get. And obviously it would be a challenge for another show to get him, but I really enjoyed that, and some of the Kiss minutia that came out of that episode was really interesting. There have been so many good episodes relating to Kiss this year that it is hard to pick one. Mark.
Well, it's funny, you almost mirrored what I was going to say exactly, because my favorite episode actually was 420, where it was us 4, where you were away, Julian, and we did the Loomis stuff there. I believe it is called here, The End is Looming. That was the end. That was that episode there, and I thought that one that was pretty good. That one, we did a good job, I think, and look, I love doing all these things. I mean, the death matches are one of the things I love doing as well on this podcast for sure. But I have to admit, that was kind of fun to do, because it was a time where there was a great buzz going on within the Kiss community at that time, talking about all these things. And, you were so busy doing things that it would have been sad, I think, that if we didn't do any episodes.
No, I just didn't want to participate in them.
Yeah.
I wasn't busy.
No,
I just declined to be a part of that conversation.
Yeah. So, but it was great. But it was great. I thought that it went well. We did a good job on it, and there was a good reaction to it. And my favorite other podcast, actually, ironically enough, was the one with you on 3 Sides, because I don't. No, seriously, because I don't like watching 3 Sides. I find them annoying, to be quite honest. That podcast. So, but that was the only episode that I watched from them this year that I didn't switch off, like after about 5-10 minutes of watching it, because I thought that it was you did a good job on there, and you were pushing a book that I thought needed to get some good support, and I think it did. And I think that it was a good episode. That says a lot, that out of all of their stuff that they put out, your episode is the one that I actually watched the whole episode of. I can't watch most of their episodes, to be honest. No offense to them, but it's just there's something about their style of podcasting I just don't like.
Yeah, nice shout out to Podcast Rock City out there from Robert Dunning. Thank you, Robert, for mentioning that. Lonnie, what about you? Which other podcast that you appeared on was your favorite episode this year?
That I appeared on. I don't get asked for a lot of guest appearances, but
there you go. If you run a podcast, Lonnie's available for guest appearances.
Lonnie's available. Small fee.
I love all the shows we do together. It's appointment. It's appointment for me every Thursday, and I feel bad the weeks that if for some reason work or life catches up with me and I can't do the show for whatever reason. I love it. I just love sitting here and just talking Kiss with my buddies for an hour every week about either what was said on the board, or what releases are coming out, what we think might be happening, what we're pissed off about this week, whatever. Because it is like what I would do with my Kiss friends, just sit around and just bullshit for an hour. And the fact that people tune in and watch this every week, I think is just kind of crazy. My dad goes, "You still do that? People still watch that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know." So, I know I love just talking with you guys every week. And as far as a show that a podcast that I wasn't on, but I really enjoyed was when Julian interviewed James Campion earlier this year about Take a Sad Song, his book about Hey Jude. I really love James's work. He did that whole book on Destroyer, and he did that book about Hey Jude, and that was excellent as well. It's one of my other favorite shows of the year.
Yeah, no, that book James Campion did,
Oh,
absolutely
fantastic.
spectacular. Just a deep, loving read of the era in which Hey Jude was born, and so much more to go along with it. All right, Daniel, tell us which Swedish podcast episode was your favorite, because you're great at representing that part of the world and kind of translating it into English for us. But what was your favorite FAQ episode, and what was your favorite other show?
Well, my favorite KissFAQ episode, I have to just get on what Lana said there, that it's just such an opportunity as a Kiss fan to have this kind of show and being able to talk with you guys an hour here and there about Kiss, because I remember way back 6-7 years ago, both me and Ken said that it was such a game changer for us to have other Kiss fans that we could talk to, because I haven't had a Kiss fans around me. So it's have been a great 6 or 7 years or whatever it is now. So that's the main thing. But when it comes to episodes, I would say actually episode 426. I think it was a ranking episode. I'm really into the ranking, the lists and all of that kind of stuff. So I really enjoy those kind of shows. And we ranked the best Kiss songs. I think it was a really simple list. We contributed, I think it was 10 or 20 of our favorite songs, and then we compiled it, and I think Black Diamond won in the end or something like that. I really enjoyed it. I don't know why, but it's always been a thing for me. I always like the lists and ranking stuff. So that's one that stands out. And of course, being able to finally have all Scandinavians on a show. I don't remember when it was. It was a live show. It was episode 436. I think that was just one of the initial thoughts I had for the podcast, that we could have people from other parts of the world, because all the podcasts were from North America, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I wanted to hear different perspectives. So the initial thought was to have people from South America, Australia, Scandinavia, and so on. And it actually took 7 years before I managed to have any sort of episode in that vicinity. So that was kind of cool, just the fact that we managed to do one of those episodes.
I hope you're planning your next one. I hope you're planning your next one, because it has to happen. Whether it's some of the same guys or different, Scandinavian Kiss fans, because I'm still all up for having shows that are in that vein, because that was an excellent show. And I also learned a lot listening to that one as well. Some of the participants on that episode had some very fascinating stories, not only as Scandinavian Kiss fans, but as Kiss fans from different eras. It really was a good episode. So thank you so much for doing that. And thank you for the guys who participated in it. Didn't you do an episode earlier today with them? You did a quiz show?
Yeah, I did a different day, because Ken hates it when I do quiz shows on the KissFAQ.
So I hate it.
Wow.
I don't hate it.
No, I come off a bit harsh. I guess it's because it's my second language. But Ken hasn't been that
very good.
Excited about them?
He hasn't been that excited that I hoped he would be when I presented stuff like the quizzes. So I looked elsewhere, and other podcasts
That's
are
my
really
subjects.
Maybe we can do one in the future, and you can tell me what subject you want.
It doesn't.
I mean,
Yeah,
so we did a kind of a different take earlier today. It was great fun. So if I can mention an episode outside of the realm of the KissFAQ, I could pick that one. It's The podcast is called Kiss. What's it called? Kiss Destroyer Alive, the Swedish Kiss Arm or something like that.
Yeah.
And we did that show earlier today. And I did a kind of a different approach, and I actually copied a lot of themes and question or way of asking questions from a game show that I really enjoy here over in Sweden, and I kind of translated it into a Kiss show. So it was real fun. Maybe we can do it sometime in the future if Ken wants to do it.
All right, Ken.
Only if I want to do it.
Ken, what say you?
You can do it, Daniel. It's okay.
I want you to be a part of it. That's the whole thing.
Yeah. No, okay. My favorite, at least KissFAQ ones, episodes are the ones that they don't mention Dubai at all.
We almost made it today.
Almost made it, but I mentioned it. See, I just blew it myself.
You know how it's going to go. If we don't mention Dubai, we'll mention magic.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Oh no! Don't even go there.
But seriously, the Loomis stuff was all fun and kind of controversial in a way, and some of that talking about the gooch, all that stuff. Yeah. Anyway, that stuff.
I'm sorry.
The creature stuff. We get excited when these new box sets come. It seems once a year now, and talk about what we think should be in it, and then we see what's going to be in it. Then we review what's going to be in it, and kind of it's a cool thing, and it's very exciting to get something different or new or something we haven't heard before. So that's my favorite stuff. As far as other podcasts, I'd love to hear more podcast. I really would love that. That's always the high quality show from Ken Mills. So that and then there's a couple others check out. Kiss My Wax. I like to check those out, especially when they talk about the vinyl. That's the stuff I like to
Or doing the unboxing with the designer of the box. I mean, that was really cool.
The Tom
2.5
German,
hours.
right? Yeah. That was great stuff. So I like all that stuff, and there's other ones, Podcast Rock City and so on. There's so many now out there. I'm glad they're doing their thing. So it's all good.
Yeah, I want to just address this comment quickly. The Rockologist thing, I have no idea. I have no information. What's my take on fans turning into record execs? Probably the same as my take on Kiss fans turning into book publishers or musicians. If you can do it, great. And if you can't, well, we've seen what happened to people who want to be authors who can't. So, as for the record stuff, no idea. I'm not in that realm. I stay out of that whole area. Mark,
yes.
Did I go to you? Did I go to you? I did. Well, shit.
He usually does that to me, so you're
okay. I always lose track of shit.
He forgets one of us one time a show.
Mark wonders why our shows are 60 minutes because that's about the maximum attention span that Julian has at any given time.
Oh no!
Whoa! See the attention span of Lonnie.
We've exceeded things, and there's obviously a game on. So, all right, let's see. He's back. Welcome back, Lonnie. Good to see you.
Thursday night football game start now, or
I think my wife started up Amazon downstairs.
All right. Any last thoughts on 2022? Before we move on and end.
I hope from a vinyl pressing standpoint, we don't have to wait as long anymore for stuff to get pressed. Oh, and just a little self plug. I gotta quickly just say this before we go. I got my Dark Monarchy CDs in today. So for those of you who bought, I'm going to start mailing them after New Year's. So they have arrived.
Yep. All right. Well, I guess that's just about it. So, from all of us, the KissFAQ, wishing everyone a happy and prosperous 2023, a healthy one as well at that. I won't be around next week, so you guys get to start off the year without me. I'll be in England. Whoa. So just hopping over for a couple of days, take care of some stuff. Yeah, a couple of record stores to visit. But all through this year, thank you for joining us for all these episodes, for joining us on the Look It's Rock and Roll podcast episodes. Next year, we're going to get going with the Look podcast a bit more. Got some Wasp episodes lined up to finish off that discography. I'm going to be starting up a Sick as a Pod podcast, and you can guess which band that's about. Yes. Aerosmith. I don't think there is any dedicated show currently to that, but with it being the 50th anniversary of the release of their first album in next week, I do want to get that moving, currently reaching out to a few folk. But for now, for everyone who's joined us tonight, thank you for giving us your time. We hope we'll see you next year. Have a good New Year's. Have a safe New Year's. And don't forget to play some Kiss music. So for now, from Daniel, Ken, Mark, and Lonnie, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Oh, yeah.